Citizens, what's up? It's President Awall here bringing you daily Star Wars Force Arena content after my rant video yesterday about how we can grow Star Wars Force Arena community. I want to just make a top tips for new players video. All the new players that are joining, there's not that many resources out there to help them out. So my intention in this video is to do an updated version of the one that I did right at pre-release, given that I have a lot more experience. Obviously now I'm up at 3,800, 3,900 rank, and I've played, hundreds and hundreds of games of Star Wars Force Arena. I'm level 11. I have, 555 victories, I guess, at this point. So it's, I have a decent amount of experience under my belt, playing the majority of the heroes in this game, spending money as well, struggling in different areas, and I want to share that knowledge with the community. So this is for you new players, and feel free to ask your questions in the comments below. I've got an amazing community on my channel that can help you out and can answer your questions, because the more new players are playing this game, the more thriving a PvP game like this can be. So first things first, how should you approach a card game MOBA hybrid on a daily basis, and how should you spend your time? So the first thing I'd recommend to new players is to, as early as possible, always check your inbox and collect any rewards that are coming in through your inbox, and then do the missions as early as possible, because once you get to late game like I am, I'm finding it difficult to finish some of the missions because I will end up losing a significant number of rating points trying to do certain missions. For example, I'm stuck on this Counterattack 2 mission here with Darth Vader. I have to play a bunch of Rebel Alliance in order for me to complete this mission, and I've just been losing a lot with Rebel Alliance. If you're at lower levels and you're just leveling up, this isn't an issue. You can just play a bunch of Rebel and whatever. You're just trying to collect cards. You're trying to collect resources. If you're at a higher level like I am, I don't want to lose 500 rating points trying to figure out how to make Rebels work today when I'm primarily an Empire player at the moment. So do the missions as early and often as possible. Check both basic and special tab. Don't worry, I'm not just going to show you menus in this video, new players. I'm also going to take this into some gameplay and show you some best practices there. Also, what you want to be focusing on is your rewards tab. You always want to have something queued up in Victory Pack. Anytime there's a play pack available over here, you want to complete the number of games that is required in order to get that play pack. Play pack is the most beneficial pack that you can get here on a regular basis, and free pack is going to constantly pop up. So what you're going to want to do is go into your settings, make sure that you turn on your game alerts and your notice alerts for this game, and it'll pop up on your phone. And when you're at work, when you're at school, whatever, when you're on the bus, in the car, hopefully maybe not in the car, whenever you get those alerts on your phone, collect your free packs, collect your play packs, collect your victory packs, and queue the next one up to be collected. This is a resource management game, new players. And collecting resources, the majority of the resources that you can collect are right here through the rewards tab and through the inbox, as well as through the missions. That's the way that you're going to be getting the majority of legendary and unique cards, and really gathering a lot of those rares, epics, and commons that you need to level up your deck and to level up your account. So that's a lot of account related things. Let me just show you a couple things in battle that you want to take into consideration. I'm just going to quickly do a play match just to show you some basics here, new players, that you should be thinking about. And I'm using a Boba Fett deck right now. This is a relatively high level deck, and I'll show it in practice up against some actual players in a moment. But here in training, here's what you want to do. So if you're playing on a tablet like I am, I have a lot more real estate here to work with. However, this magnifying glass up in the top left-hand corner, use this magnifying glass and zoom out if you can afford it, if you can still kind of click what you need to click on the screen with the accuracy that you feel comfortable with. You get a lot more real estate to work with when you zoom out. There's a notification, by the way, the ones I was telling you to turn on a moment ago. Also, use your finger, your primary gameplay finger, and check out the mini-map by dragging on the mini-map at the top and checking out what units the enemy is dropping. If I say no, there are marauders in the top lane here, which is a low HP unit, I can deploy something to counter that by checking out in the back of their base first before it reaches my base, and I'll be able to anticipate and counter. New players, this is a game of resource management and of counters. That's all this is. And the more information that you can get on your screen at any given time by zooming out, by checking out what's coming down any lane at any given time, the more effective you will be as a player and the higher your win rate will be. That's just a fact. Cool. Also, keep in mind that whenever you have 10 energy like I do right now, a quick tip for you is to just drop any unit in the back, preferably a low HP unit or a unit that you don't necessarily need to counter stuff, behind your enemy lines, way back here, so that it can run out and it can go do stuff, essentially. And that allows you not to waste energy. You don't want to be sitting there with 10 energy sitting in the bank ever. You want to be blowing your energy at all times. Even if the card that you're playing is not necessarily the best card, or a card that you know is going to be super effective, it's going to be better than just wasting time and letting your energy sit there at max. Always use your energy, never sit at 10. With your hero, and I'm kind of breaking this rule right now during training, you generally want to stay in this middle area that I'm kind of playing around with right here. You want to stay right about in this area, just outside of the range of an enemy hero that could snipe you or otherwise. And what you want to do is anytime a unit is deployed in either lane, throw your hero into that lane. Your hero can usually tank a decent amount of damage, and then you can throw supporting units around you in order to help out in your efforts in that particular lane. And the reason why I say that is don't hang way back here behind this barrier, if you will, because it'll take too long for you to run to the top lane or to run to the bottom lane in order to help out your turrets and to help out your efforts in battle. So staying right about here makes it so that you have a straight line and it's the shortest path possible to defend in either lane. Cool. And last thing that I'll say here in training mode is remember, your number one objective in this game is to do efficient trades against the enemy. And what I mean by that is you want to throw a card that is going to counter the enemy card with the lowest possible cost. Why? Because you're looking to take down enemy structures. All you have to do is take down one enemy turret in this game and have them take down 0. Or just take down one more enemy turret than they have when you're on the clock, and you win. It doesn't matter how many hero kills you get. It doesn't matter how many of their mob units you kill. It doesn't matter how far ahead you are in terms of your total units in the map when the timer runs out. It's only about whether you killed more turrets than them when the clock runs out. So you want to keep your eye on that clock all the time. Cool, I'm going to open a pack right here, and this is something that I want to illustrate to new players. This pack is a gold pack, I believe, which is a significant amount of resources. And as you level up, as you can see, and as you kind of get higher rating, you'll get more and more cards every single time that you earn packs and then open them. So this pack's going to have big rewards. I'm getting lots of epics out of this. I've got the new Bantha card here as well. That was awesome. As soon as I'm done opening that pack, every single time, I'm going to unlock another one and make sure I'm constantly queued up. Do this on your mobile phone, do it quickly, etc. So the question is now that you have this notification under deck, should you upgrade that card or not? I recommend not trading any cards when you're leveling up and you're trying to build your deck and you're trying to figure out this game. I think trading is a rip-off, generally speaking. The only trades that I feel are worth it are legendary for legendary trades. If there's just one legendary you're just crazy about and you just really want to get them to level 2. Otherwise, don't trade. It's a waste of resources. You have to spend gold to trade. Don't spend gold to trade. Even like a trade like this, like a unique for a legendary, you have to spend 9,000 gold. Don't trade. Instead, when you get enough cards to upgrade, go ahead and just upgrade and spend your resources doing that. Your cards get better, and you get EXP. And when you get EXP, you level up your main account. And when your main account levels up, new players, your shield generator gets more HP, your turrets get more HP, and your turrets do more damage. It is awesome. And that is going to be your main objective, and that's going to be one of the best things that you can do to level up and to ensure that you're going to get consistent performance as you move up the ladder in Star Wars Force Arena. So let me just take this straight into a real battle, and I'm going to use my Boba Fett deck I was just showing you. Actually, let me switch this over. This was a very 2v2 focused deck. Let me throw my Bantha right there. Bam! And we're going to take this. I'm actually going to take ATST out as well. And this was a 2v2 focus deck, and now I want it to be my 1v1 focus deck. So I'm not going to have all of those high resource cost cards there. And I'm just going to show you some combat. This is some Erodium level combat, 3800 rank. So this is towards the top of the ladder. Wow, an instant Q. Cool. And I'm going to be up against Lando. And so I'm going to talk out loud and tell you generally kind of how I'm thinking about combat. And maybe this will help you think about combat maybe in a more advanced way as you're trying to level up. So I'm making sure, right, that I'm zoomed out here. And at the beginning of the game, I'm going to be keeping an eye on Lando, looking at the mini-map here, seeing what he's doing, seeing if I can counter any of his cards. And as soon as I get up to 10 energy, I'm going to be deploying a unit here, Sand Trooper on the back line. And just like he deployed his unique unit there in this lane. And that's cool. It's great that he did that because that means that we... Ooh, wow, Ion Mine. That means that we were able to deploy a great counter to him. So he's got his Grenadier here, and I cleared out the majority of his units, and I didn't waste any energy along the way, which was really the point of early game. So as you're kind of moving through your matches, and I was hoping that Wookiee wouldn't attack my turret. As you're kind of moving through these matches, and you're sort of figuring out what it is that you're trying to accomplish, just keep in mind that you're trying not to overcommit resources in any given situation. You're trying to efficiently trade. And so what I'm doing is I waited there just a moment, and I maybe sat with 10 energy for just a second so that I could use my slave and I could counter those enemy units as they came across. I'm waiting to see what kinds of units they deploy in order to make my decisions, but trying not to wait too long. And I know that that is kind of confusing and like, what's too long, what's not, blah blah blah. That's very difficult to determine sometimes. And you're going to have to figure that out over time, but generally speaking, you want to be countering the enemy, right? So I'm going to drop down a Slave 1 here. And there it is, blowing up the enemy. I threw a Sand Trooper over on the left, and that Sand Trooper, the reason why I threw that card in there is there were multiple enemy units, and Sand Trooper does area of effect damage. So what that my Slave 1 unique allowed me to do was gather up all of the enemies in that situation. Then I dropped down a unit, which does damage to multiple enemies, awesome, and then I was able to rack up the enemy team as a result. So I thought about my card combination, and I was able to generate some nice synergies there, where I pull everybody together. Once I have them all together, I do a bunch of damage to everybody because they're all together, and I benefit from that. Cool. Those are the kinds of habits that you'll be able to pick up over time, and those are the kinds of, that's the sort of logic that you're going to need to kind of work on as you're, putting your decks together. I'm going to drop Slave 1 here, and this should help clear out a decent amount of his units. Ooh, my Dewback Trooper, busting that Lando in the face. That's what I'm talking about. I'm going to drop Sand Trooper here on the back line, and for some reason my border popped up there. That was weird. Anyway, oh no, his Grenadier, as you can see, I misplayed my Trooper card, my Stormtrooper card. He had his Grenadier on the field in that situation. I deployed my Stormtroopers, and his Grenadier one-shot my Stormtroopers. That's gross. So, in this sort of situation, in the past, I would overplay my hand, and I would get very aggressive with the intention of winning the game. I'm going to win the game. And instead, what I do now is I play relatively conservatively. I was hoping that Sand Trooper actually would attack in this lane, and it did not. I'm trying to kill his Grenadier. Back. And it looks like I got killed, and he dropped a double tank there. And unfortunately, that was a misplay. My Sand Trooper ran into the other lane, and that caused major issues for me. So I'm gonna try to kill him. And I do. I'm successfully killing him. And I don't think I'm going to win this game. It's going to be a draw. The timer ran out. Neither of us killed either one's structure. Now, check out what I did that game. I didn't overcommit when I had the advantage earlier. You know that moment when I killed Lando and I could have moved in on his structure? I could have thrown every unit that I had into his lane, and I could have tried to take his turret down. The issue with that, though, would have been if I didn't take down his turret, he would have been able to counterattack me extremely effectively and be able to guarantee to take down my turret, because Lando is a very, very aggressive character. So I took the more conservative approach and I got a draw, and I didn't lose any rating points. But what I gained 2 victory points by a draw. And what I mean by that is if I had a play pack available, I would have got 2 play pack points essentially that would contribute towards me being able to get additional cards. So it's a net gain in that situation rather than taking a huge risk and potentially having a net loss. Just want to share with you some of my logic there. Okay, let's talk quickly about the shop. There are cards that are available to buy here. There are card packs that are available to buy. There's crystals, there's credits. Should you be spending any money on this area of the game in the shop? I recommend that if you are going to buy anything in this game, ignore all of the cards right here. I've bought them before and it's just a huge ripoff. Ignore all of the cards. Don't buy the cards. They're just a waste of gold. Total waste of gold. If you're going to spend any money here in the shop, buy crystals. Preferably buy a higher denomination of crystals if you can. Not just the $2.99, but try to buy a little bit more. And then with your crystals, the first purchase that you should make is buying credits. Because credits are required to upgrade your cards. And no matter what, if you keep playing this game, you're going to get more cards. So you need credits to upgrade those cards. And the last thing that you want is to be earning cards and to have a bottleneck where you cannot upgrade your cards as you're earning them. That is the last thing that you want. So if you're going to spend money, spend it on credits first. Once you have a sufficient amount of credits in the bank, as you can see I have 46,000, I've spent money though, then you can consider buying other things. Don't buy cards, buy packs. And in my personal opinion, I think the only pack that's worth buying is Diamond Pack. Because you have guaranteed significant amount of gold, up to 3,000. 352 common cards will come out of this thing. You're going to have 11 epic cards, a guaranteed unique, one of the hardest types of cards to get in the game, and a guaranteed legendary, all in one pack. I recommend buying Diamond Pack because you get a legendary and a unique, and you get maximum value for your crystals. I've done the calculations. Many other people have done the calculations for your purchase with the Diamond Pack. Just going to keep it simple. Going to leave it there. Only thing worth buying here. People are like, oh, but Platinum Pack, Awall? Platinum Pack has a unique. Sure, it does have a unique. You don't get as much gold. You don't get as much total cards. And you don't get a legendary. And at the end of the day, if you're trying to get to late game and you're thinking long term, legendaries are what are going to matter for you in the long run. And what you want to be doing with your legendaries and what you want to be doing with your uniques, new players, you want to get them to level 2 as your top priority. Why level 2? Because it's relatively easy to get a card to level 2. All you have to do is get 2 of them. 2 of that particular card, and then you can upgrade to level 2. And once you get to level 2, it is a significant increase in power for a particular card. However, going from level 2 to level 3, you have to have 4 cards in order to do that, like with my director Orson Krennic. And then it costs 20,000 credits to upgrade from there. Don't recommend focusing on getting cards to level 3. Get most of your cards up to level 2, and don't trade unless you're going to be doing a legendary for legendary trade so that you can get one of your favorite legendaries to level 2. Cool? Cool. Alright, let's talk quickly about what heroes you should be playing. So there are tier lists out there. There are blah 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 guides. You'll see videos of people like me jabbering at the screen telling you which heroes are the best. Personally, my advice remains exactly the same today as it was pre-release when I did my first tips for new players video. Play the heroes that you think are fun. Period. All of the heroes in this game are viable. All of them. You can build a deck for every single hero in this game and you can win games. You can figure it out. you can do it, you can master that hero, and you can be successful. Now, certain heroes are better at different times, or certain legendaries rather, like Agent Callus or Palpatine, or on the Rebel side, Luke, Lando, etc. Some of them are better in certain metas. And that will be an ebb and flow that changes every season, that changes maybe every day. But what isn't going to change is what legendaries you think are cool, and which ones that are fun for you to play. And this game isn't just about winning games. It's more than anything, it's about having fun. So if you think it's fun to play Lando because he can get his energy recharged and it like helps you do sick tactics where you can swap cards in your hand and blah blah blah, and you think Lando is awesome from the movies, then play Lando. Even if when you're looking at people's decks for inspiration on the ladder and you're like, oh my gosh, the top deck isn't Lando, am I making the wrong decision? Play what's fun. It's a freaking video game. Remember that. First and foremost, this game is about having fun. And that is more important than any tier list or any YouTuber or any guide writer's opinion about what you should be doing. Cool. And there's a few additional tips that I'll give you guys. I just mentioned it a moment ago. If you want inspiration on what you should be playing, take a look at the top players in the game. Click the tier up at the top and just look at the top. Say, you can look at the decks, the top 100 or so players are playing in Kyber. Just take a look for inspiration. You're like, you know what, I don't know how to put together a Grand Admiral Thrawn deck. Go find a top player that's playing it. Look at his deck and go, okay, that's a good basis for what I could use. Then you can use this as a baseline, use this deck as an inspiration, and then build your own deck based on the cards that you have. That's okay. I do that all of the time. I like to look at people who their most frequently used leader is the one that I'm looking to play or test, and then I'll go find one that has a deck that they're currently using for that leader. They have more experience than I do with that leader, and so they're probably going to be a decent source of information to begin constructing my own deck around that leader. Cool. The last thing I'll say here, guys, is where should you get your information, your tips, your tricks, your info on how to improve at this game and connect with other people to help you. Okay, obviously you can watch YouTube channels like mine or Gluten Slayer or iChase or Mobile Gamer, those guys. We all make content about this game on a pretty regular basis. I do every day. But you can also go to the Mobrium forums if you're interested in that. I think that the subreddit for this game is pretty solid. Just Google it. It's there. The Star Wars Force Arena subreddit, and that's it. That's all that's out there that I can find that is a very, very reliable source of good information. So find your favorite YouTubers, use the subreddit, and then you can use the forums as you see fit. The forums are a bit of a mixed bag, I'll be honest. Some of the threads get pretty salty, but the subreddit is well moderated, and these YouTube channels generally have relatively hardcore players that are generally more mature, that are going to be willing to help you out. And you can ask questions. People ask hundreds of questions on my channel every day. I respond to almost all of them, and my community responds to a lot of them as well. And these are experienced players that can help you out. Speaking of getting help, there are guilds in this game. I can't click my guild because my camera's in the way. There it is. There are guilds in this game. You can join those guilds, and as you can see, there's a request right now from one of my guild mates asking for somebody to join them in a game. There's a team-up feature in this game, 2v2s versus 1v1s, whatever. If you team up with other people, it can be a lot of fun to play 2v2s. Here's what I'll say about that. At the moment that I'm doing this video, in 2v2s, Rebels are awful at higher tiers, and Empire just completely dominates. If you are finding when you team up with people, or if you're finding when you're playing 1v1s, that your deck isn't working for you, or your faction isn't working for you, or teaming up with a certain person in your guild is not working for you, change your strategy. Don't get angry at the game. Don't get angry at Netmarble. Don't get angry at your teammate. Change your strategy. That is the only thing that you have control over, citizens, is your own strategy, your own decks, and what you're trying, and how you interact with the game. And anytime I've been stuck on the ladder and I get salty, for a while there, I was stuck here in Chromium for a while, in an earlier season. I was stuck around like 2200. I'm like, I can't make it over this hump. This game's crap, whatever. I was complaining, being salty. And then I switched my strategy. That didn't work. I switched it again. That didn't work. I switched it a third time. Bam, it worked. Got 800 points. Just started slamming through the ladder. I had the right leader, the right strategy, the right deck. I was playing the right mode, and it was working for me. That's what you have control over, friends. That's what you can do in this game. It's a player versus player game. It is a ladder-based game, and the players that are innovative, that stay positive, and realize that they have control over their own destiny in this game are the ones that are going to succeed. And you'll see up on the subreddit many success stories of people that are free to play with this game, haven't spent a dime. They have much lower level cards than the average, say, Kyber player, and they are Kyber now. And that's because they take that approach and they keep it fresh and they look at this game objectively and realize you just got to switch it up to figure out what's working today in this game. Anyway, I've ranted enough. I have, at this point, close to 100 videos about this game. It's getting there. 50 videos about this game on my channel. You can check them all out on the playlist that I have curated on my channel. I've got a cards playlist, decks playlist, strategy playlist. I've even got a pack opening playlist where I talk about how you should invest your money and resources. Check those out, new players, and ask your questions in the comments below. My community and myself would be happy to help you get into this game because it's really fun. It really is fun. And Netmarble doesn't pay me to say that. So there you go, citizens. I'm going to throw my avatar up above myself and click that. Subscribe if you want daily content around this game to help you get better. And enable notifications to make sure that you don't miss any of my videos. Otherwise, you'll miss most of them if you don't enable notifications. And I got a couple more right there. Click those. Hopefully my tips will help you out, new players. Thanks for watching. Adios, amigos. And good luck.